Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today I'm going to show you how to use APIs in your Lovable apps, right? If you're building an app with Lovable, which is an amazing tool to build web apps with pure AI. And today I'm going to go through a few direct and indirect integrations or APIs that you can use inside of Lovable. And yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this type of content. I think around 87% of the viewers that actually watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you are in that 13%, thank you very much. But if you're not, please feel free to like and subscribe. I post as many YouTube videos per a week as possible. So I try to, provide you with the best content when it comes to no code and AI, right? So yeah, today we're going to talk about APIs in Lovable. So if that sounds interesting for you guys, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the best place to start to learn about all of this stuff is by going to the docs.lovable.dev. And under integrations, right up here, you can basically get an overview of all the different integrations that work with Lovable. We have 4 direct integrations that include Github, Superbase, Stripe, and adding a custom domain with Netlify. We have a few verified integrations or APIs that we can connect with things like OpenAI, 3JS, Anthropic, which is basically Claude, Resend, which is a email software that basically helps you with automatic email responses and whatnot. We have things like Replicate, Clerk, Make for advanced automations and workflows. And we have also 11 Labs for text to speech. So there are a few things you can, for example, click on one of these and then you can read a little bit more about these specific APIs, right? So this is, for example, Make API documentation. The Make API follows the REST API design. So you can basically just go here and read more about that and how to get started, right? But these are kind of the direct or the verified integrations, rather, and they're basically easier to integrate into Lovable in comparison to these unverified, which are still pretty easy to integrate. They just often require additional context and instructions, right? So they're not so straightforward like these, right? So, but with these unverified integrations, you get things like Mapbox, Rive, Together AI, Firecrawl, which is great for scraping website. You get Perplexity, Zapier, which is kind of similar to Make, right? Mailgun, Calendly, Notion. I mean, there's a bunch of different unverified integrations. And like I said, they're a little bit harder to integrate into Lovable, but they're still possible. And in today's video, I want to show you kind of the difference of these three, right? So native versus verified versus unverified. And the best way to start is just by opening Lovable. So let's open Lovable and let's create a random little app. So let's, for example, create a web app that helps users learn Thai. Let's click on enter. All right, so it basically created us a web app to learn Thai naturally and effectively. So we have different flashcards for different things. So Sawasdi is hello, right? So Kapkum is thank you, I remember. So we have a bunch of different things, right? Different flashcards for different topics. Pretty interesting. Alphabet, right? We have a quiz as well. And we have this progress tab. So basically this is just like a facade. I know that this is, not real data, but that's where, these integrations come in. So we have these native integrations like Superbase, we have GitHub, we also have the ability to publish, and we have Stripe as well as native integrations. Now, the first integration that I want to try out is Superbase, right? It's basically this database where you can store in user data when users are logging in, when they're registering for the first time. Also, this would apply to a Superbase project, right? To a table. There's a specific user and seeing how much of the alphabet or of the vocabulary or of the grammar they've learned and kind of store that data. So to start off with that, and with these native integrations, it's very easy because you can just click on this button and you can see we have the other types of native integrations here as well, except for Stripe, that's another thing. And we can just connect it to a specific database that's connected to this one. And then boom, it's already connected. And you can see that it says, please connect my Superbase to this project, right? And we can basically click on this to view the project dashboard. Yeah, you can basically see this as the project dashboard. You can see a specific table. We have no tables right now, but that's what we're going to start doing. And we can start building these tables from scratch using the Lovable chat. So we can say set up authentication using Superbase. And once that gets going, basically Lovable provides you this SQL code, basically stating what it's going to do. So create a profiles table to store user data, add row level for security, create policies, create a trigger to automatically create a profile when a new user signs up. You can basically review all of that. And then once you're, satisfied, you can click on apply changes. All right. And you see now, just after 2 prompts, we have authentication. Once, we connect Superbase, and this is kind of like the benefits of these native integrations with Lovable. So we can go here and register, and I'm just going to give out some random, like my email and some random password. And yeah, once we do that register, we get the email. We can click on confirm your email, opens a new tab. It looks like this because our site is not really published yet, but eventually we can, edit this at the end, and we can go back to our project and click on sign in. And let me just put in my information. And if I click on logged in, we are logged in, and we can save that if we want to. Here's our information, which this is all fake, by the way. I haven't even started. It's just, this is another thing that we can, end up doing with a tool like Superbase. But yeah, that's basically, a perfect example of one of these native integrations, native APIs. Another one obviously is with GitHub. We can connect our GitHub account, and we could link it to our organization, transfer the project to your specific, we can view it on GitHub once we're logged in because it's a private project. We can also clone it here as well. So yeah, that's basically another quick example of one of these native API integrations. And another thing, of course, is that once you connect it to GitHub, you can not only view it and clone it, you can also edit in VS Code with this button. And it basically creates you like this browser version of VS Code with all of your, folders and dependencies here on the left side. And which is great if you want to be a little bit more, flexible with the code, if you want to really add some things manually. The great part is that this can actually sync this together with Lovable. So if I were to make some change and save this over here, I can, write some message, right? Change whatever, commit and push, and that would be basically synced to Lovable, right? We're not going to do that though. But yeah, these are just some good examples of the native API integrations. Now moving onwards, we saw this. Now let's go ahead and look at the verified integration. So not native, but verified. And we can go ahead and choose something like OpenAI. We can choose something like Runware. I've used Runware in some of my previous videos, so you can check that out as well. And what's cool about these verified integrations is that they have like an extra layer of documentation. So if we wanted to look at this Clerk one, we can go here, click on integration with Clerk, and it says, okay, why Clerk? Clerk handles authentication and user management, so you don't have to build it from scratch. So it basically creates this user authentication with pre-built UI components, support for B2B apps, integration with Superbase, Stripe coming soon. And they also have a video of how they do it, right? So this video is like an hour long, so that's also great. A lot of very informative, and it gives you a very in-depth step-by-step on how to do this, right? In this case, we can go ahead and try something like integrating with AI, like OpenAI. So we can go ahead here and open this. And it basically shows us how to integrate these different AI services like OpenAI to our project. So choose the AI feature you need. Before you start building, define what you want the AI to do. So in our case, we have this Thai Scholar thing, and we would probably want the AI to give us clues, or maybe we have some AI chat that is stuck to the bottom of each page, like a little chatbot. So here for step 2, it says plan with prompts first, build an email enhancement tool. The user should write an email, then click buttons to make it more professional, concise, and friendly using the Grok API. So Lovable will scaffold the UI, suggest components, and let you preview the app quickly. Okay, and then we have to do the step 3. So let's go ahead and start with this, right? We understand what the feature needs to do. Now let's go ahead and do this. So I need a chatbot on all pages of the web app to help the user navigate through the pages and understand what their next steps should be. I'm also going to include that I want the chatbot to be kind of sticky to the bottom right. And then at the end, say use OpenAI API. So let's go ahead and submit that. So basically what Lovable says is that to implement a chatbot that helps users navigate in whatever we'll need to create a new component and set up an OpenAI integration through Superbase edge function. So it kind of understands, step 3, step 4, and already in this first step. So let's go ahead and add an API key over here. So let's click on this. And now it's going to open this pop-up where we just enter our API key. It says enter your API key to continue, manage this later from the Superbase menu. So let's click on learn more. And here on the learn more, it just shows us, it tells us about the Superbase integration, which we already added. Let's go ahead and close this and let's enter our API key from OpenAI. And let's just create a new key. Let's call this like YouTube tutorial. And let's create the secret key over here. And we copy it and we paste it right over here. Submit. And it says API keys added successfully. Let's just close this. I have now added the API keys you asked for. So now it says, great, now that we have the OpenAI API key, let's implement the chatbot feature that will be available across all pages of the application. So that's interesting. So I guess it's going to skip step 3 and step 4. Let's see once it does it. But step 3 would be to connect to a backend with Superbase and then to use edge functions for AI calls. And I guess the Lovable AI is going to do that automatically for us because that's what it stated in the previous message. So now it says, I've implemented a chatbot assistant that appears on all pages of your Thai learning web application. The chatbot is sticky to the bottom right. So as you can see, it's already here. And let's move to a home page so it looks a little bit more realistic. And let's click on this. Hello, I'm ThaiBot, your Thai learning assistant. How can I help you today? Where should I start? Right? Let's see. With that, it's typing. Let's see if it works. So, okay, a great place to start is the Thai alphabet page. Familiarizing yourself with the Thai script is essential. All right, cool. It seems like it understands it. And again, this is one of these verified integrations with OpenAI. So as you can see, it's also it's not quite direct as it is with these where you just click on a button and it's already like, pre-made settings. It's a little bit harder because you have to follow some documentations here and there, but it's not so hard. As you can see, it's already starting to work after like 2-3 prompts. We can say like, what's your favorite thing about the Thai language? And then here it says, for example, the Thai language is fascinating for several reasons. Tonal nature is a tonal language, meaning that the pitch of a word can change its meaning. Okay, so it's very interesting how it, answers. It's basically very smart. It's with the AI. So yeah, that's just a perfect example of one of these direct integrations, I think it's called, or verified integrations. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to one of these unverified integrations, right? This is going to be something a little bit harder. And there are a bunch of things that we can do, but I'm just going to start off with the first one, which is Mapbox. And let's just add a map at the bottom of this website somewhere over here. Right before this ready to start learning Thai, we can add some type of interactive map with famous landmarks in Thailand, maybe, or something like that. Let's see. So it says all other callable APIs can still be integrated, but they often require additional context and instructions. Proceed at your own risk. And it gives us a example prompt to use. So integrate integration name into my site by following the steps in the documentation below. Copy and paste API instructions or provide the documentation URL. Okay, so let's go and do that. So let's go back to our Lovable chat and let's say integrate Mapbox into my homepage. Let's put it, where did we want to put it? Like over under the features section. By following the steps in the documentation below, copy and paste the API instructions. So let's go, I think, yeah, this was the link. Whenever you click on Mapbox, it takes you over here. And basically we have this. I don't know if this is going to be very useful since these are all like different links. And there are a bunch of different API docs as far as I can tell. So I'm just going to provide it with this one. Let's see what it does. Click on submit. And again, this is going to be a little bit harder because, as you said, or as the documentation said, it's not so direct. You know, we have to proceed with our own risk. It says, I'll integrate Mapbox into your homepage. Below the features section, first we need to set up a Mapbox account and get an access token. Please add your Mapbox public access token using the form above. Once you've done that, I'll implement the map on your homepage. So let's get this token over here and we can create a token. Let's call this one YouTube tutorial again, just to, just to give it a name, create token. And once we copy that, we can go back here and paste that API key over here to submit. API keys added successfully. So it's pretty much, it's very simple to use. I thought it was going to be much more complicated. Maybe there are a few APIs out there that are more complicated to use than Mapbox. Let's see. Maybe we could try out with another one. But if the map is going to work right now, let's see. Maybe it's not as hard as we thought it was going to be. So we do get an error. It says, I see the issue, the process. Well, we got an error before that I couldn't really see anything, but now the map is pretty much empty. And it says, I fixed the map issue by changing process.env to import meta.env. And it says it's giving me an error code saying that my access token, Mapbox access token, is missing. So I'm just gonna refresh this and feed this to the chat. So this is kind of one of the things that I knew that was going to happen. It wasn't going to be so straightforward, but you know, this is the reason why I'm doing it now for YouTube, in YouTube, for you guys to see, right? So I'm getting this error. Just keep it simple. All right, so now Lovable is asking me to provide the access token over here. So if I save the token and do that, we still get no map, unfortunately. Right? Is that what's happening? Yeah, we still get no map. So yeah, there are a few errors. This involves a little bit more of a debugging. We can also add this somewhere inside of our code. So if I go here, so I'm just gonna say the map is empty, right? Because it is empty. But at least we get this title and it's not completely empty. Just the map box part of it is. All right, and now we start getting something. So we get a nice map view, like a very cool 3D map. And we get these different places. We get Phuket, right? We get Bangkok, we get Pattaya, Chiang Mai. Yeah, really, really cool stuff. At least that's working for now. But as you can see, it did take some time to kind of really set this up and get this working. But eventually after a few rounds of debugging, you'll get it done. Now, some of these unverified integrations are actually kind of difficult to add, like for example, the YouTube one, because this is like the Google API and it's kind of complicated to go through these. I've had quite a tough experience when it comes to Google API, but some of these are going to be easier, like Mapbox, but some of them are going to be more difficult, like with YouTube. And also most of these unverified integrations would require you to actually, well, all of these integrations will require you to actually have an account for some of these. And, some of these are going to ask you for some payment information before, just in case you go through to your past your limits. So another unverified integration that I was actually looking at was this one called Twilio. So make and receive phone calls, send and receive text messages. So I was thinking like maybe we can do something with the AI chatbot that I can send you some type of text message. I don't know. Let's see. So basically what we can do is we can go ahead and do this again, this little text. So integrate Twilio. I think it's with one L. Yes, Twilio into my chatbot. Add a button inside chatbot that says text me by following the steps in the documentation below. And let's just copy and paste these documentation. So I have this. I created an account, by the way. So I'm gonna just, do that at the same time. And let's just send this and see how it goes. All right, and now it says to complete the Twilio integration, you'll need to add your Twilio credentials as secrets in your Superbase project. These credentials include your Twilio account, SID, auth token, and your Twilio phone number that will be used to send the SMS messages. So as you can see, it's quite complicated. So we can go here to get our credentials, and we can go over here. Once we click on this link, we can create an API key. Let's just call it like YouTube test. Click on, see these things. Click on create. Now it's basically add API keys. I clicked on that and we have these three fields. So Twilio account SID, get our secret key as well, our auth token. All right, and then we can click on submit once we have that. And again, we had to add 3 different fields, and it's not so, direct like it was with Superbase and with GitHub. We have to just do some trial and error to see if it actually works, right? So now that you've added your Twilio credentials as secrets, let's implement the SMS functionality to the chatbot. I'll create a Superbase edge function to securely handle the SMS sending through Twilio's API. So let's see how that works. All right, and now it says the SMS functionality has been successfully implemented in your chatbot. Users can now click on this text me, which, okay, it actually works. And let's click on that and we can add our phone number, and it says SMS sent. I put my phone number and it's just, wait, I'm not getting anything. Maybe it's because it's sending from my phone number and I put my own phone number. So I have to try to see if maybe it works for my wife's phone number. Let's see. And according to my wife, who is in the other room, I sent her a WhatsApp asking her if she got the text message, and she didn't. So there is something wrong with that. As you can see, these are one of the unverified integrations, unverified APIs. They still work, but you need some fine tuning. You need to sharpen that knife and kind of slowly but surely make it work eventually. And maybe the reason why it wasn't really working was because I didn't set up. I put my own phone number in that third field, and probably we had to put this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to do this as well. As you can see, it's just like we're just trying everything out to see if it actually works. And basically to actually, use a phone number, you'd have to buy it, but it is essentially possible. You just have to make sure that everything is kind of set in the right place. That's why it's not really working right now, because I don't have a toll-free number. I was using a test number and it wasn't kind of going through. You can see in the logs that something was actually happening, but it didn't really go through because it's not this toll-free. So yeah, Lovable's documentation doesn't really tell you that. You have to kind of discover that on your own, but that's kind of like the reason why these are unverified integrations. So you kind of learn, as you go, right? So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video today. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you all have a wonderful day. And again, if you like this video, please hit the like button. That helps me a lot. And again, a lot of you that are watching this video or my videos in total aren't subscribed. I think 87% of you aren't subscribed. So I would really appreciate if you subscribe. I do videos almost on a daily basis. There are maybe like 1 or 2 days a week that I kind of skip. But I do videos on a daily basis, and I'm investing a lot into making the quality of the videos much better each week. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah, see you next time. Bye-bye.